Hello. Today we will study about the histology of hairs. In the epidermis, epidermal derivatives are present. These are the glands, hair, nails, claws, hooves, horns, scales, etc. But we consider only first two of these since they alone are common to all mammals. Among them, one of them is glands. In the skin, many glands are present. One of them, sweat gland, is the most common. They are coiled, tubular, exocrine glands of two types, merocrine and apocrine. Each of these consists of a terminal glandular portion and an excretory duct. The merocrine sweat glands are of simple, coiled, tubular nature. Their terminal glandular portion lies deep inside the reticular layer of the dermis or even in the hypodermis. It is tightly coiled, hence in section the sweat glands may be recognized as nest of small cut tubules. This glandular portion consists of cuboidal or low columnar epithelium which surrounds a narrow lumen. The epithelium consists of two types of cells, clear and dark. The clear cells show surface folds and apical microvilli. Their cytoplasm contains abundant smooth endoplasmic reticulum, many mitochondria and glycogen granules. Rough endoplasmic reticulum is scanty. The ciliary cells are responsible for the production of sweat which contains variable amount of sodium chloride, urea, uric acid and ammonia. These sweat glands partially functions as excretory organ. The dark cells are adjacent to the narrow lumen of the sweat glands. These cells contain abundant rough endoplasmic reticulum and glycoprotein. The excretory duct of sweat gland forms shallow spiral and runs straight through the epidermal page to open at the skin surface by sweat pores. The apocrine sweat glands occur in many mammals such as goat, rabbit, deer, elephant. These glands are also coiled and tubular but may be branched. They are characterized by a wide lumen and secretory cells of only one type. The apocrine glands develop in association with hair follicles and empty their secretions into the follicles above the duct of the sebaceous gland. The apocrine sweat glands are responsive to sex hormones and become functional at puberty. Their secretions are proteinous in nature. In many mammals, such glands produce pheromones, a chemical used in marking territory, courtship, and maternal as well as social behavior. The mammary glands of the external ear and the glands of mole in the eyelid are modified sweat glands. Aquatic mammals do not possess sweat glands. The next gland is sebaceous glands associated with hair follicles from which they develop and into which they open. They are holocrine glands of simple or branched type. They produce an oily secretion called sebum. The Meibomian or tarsal glands of upper eyelid are large modified sebaceous glands and consist of simple alveoli opening into a common duct. The next very common feature or derivative of epidermis is nothing but the hair. One of the distinctive mammalian character is the presence of slender, flexible and keratinous outgrowth the hair. In most mammals, but not in men, hair form an important protective and heat insulating cover which occur in most mammals but not in men, are enlarged hair modified for a tactile function. Hair are produced only in the thin skin by epidermal buds growing obliquely into the dermis or even the hypodermis to form deep and narrow hair follicles. A hair consists of a root embedded in the follicle and a cylindrical, free and dead shaft arising from the root and projecting above the skin surface. At its lower end, the root is expanded to form the hair bulb, into the bottom of which projects a vascularized connective tissue, dermal papilla. The hair bulb consists of epidermal matrix cells. The part of follicle above the root is the keratogenous zone. Here, the cells gradually transform into keratin but without developing any keratohyalin granules. The keratin of hair is called hard keratin in contrast with the soft keratin of the surface epithelium. The hair follicle also have histologically cells and sheets. It consists of epidermal outer and inner sheets and dermal connective tissue sheets. The outer root sheet is a continuation of stratum germinativum. The inner root sheet is composed of cuticle, Hexley's layer, and Henle's layer. It produces soft keratin. The cuticle lies next to the hair and consists of overlapping squamous cells. These contain nuclei in the lower part but are unnucleated towards the surface. Hexley's layer lies outside the cuticle and consists of cells containing keratohyalin granules. In the deeper portion of the follicle, these cells are nucleated. Near the surface, the nuclei are pycnotic or absent. The outer Henle's layer is a row of cuboidal cells containing tonofibrils. They contain nuclei only in the deepest part of the follicle. The dermal connective tissue sheets are an inner transparent vitreous membrane, a thick middle layer, and an indistinct outer coat. The glands and muscles of the follicles are also present in the upper one third of the follicle opens the sebaceous glands. Attached to the connective tissue sheet of the follicle below the sebaceous gland is a distinct band of smooth muscles, the arrector pili. Its other end passes upwards for insertion into the papillary layer of the dermis. Now, structure of hair. The hair composed of epithelial cells arranged into three concentric layers: medulla, cortex, and cuticle. Medulla is the narrow central axis made up of two or three cell layers. Near the root, the cells are cuboidal with rounded nuclei. In the shaft, the cells are keratinized and their nuclei are rudimentary or absent. The intercellular spaces contain air. Medulla often does not extend through the shaft. Cortex makes most of the hair and consists of many cell layers. In its lower part, the cells are living but die out and become keratinized progressively. Intercellular air pockets may occur. The cuticle is very thin and consists of single layer of clear overlapping squamous cells. These are nucleate in the upper part of the root and on the shaft. Both cortex and cuticle contain hard keratin and melanin granules.